cos is the sine version, that is shifted version of sine. Is it clear for you? So just replace t with n, that's all. Here n can be considered as a dimensionless quantity because it is integer. So it is a dimensionless quantity. And the value of omega you have already found out from the periodic and non-periodic topic. The value of omega is nothing but 2 pi by capital N into M. The value of omega is 2 pi by capital N into M, where small letter m should be an integer and capital N should be also an integer. So when you write a sinusoidal signal like this, that is x of n equal to sine pi by 4n, it means that its amplitude is 1. Otherwise, I should specify here 2 or 3 like that. Okay, before the sine function, I should specify a number other than 1. Then we can consider that as an amplitude. If I'm not specifying any number before that sine function, then I should consider the amplitude as 1. Is it clear for you? Here it is a can be considered as 1. When you compare these two, this is a general way of representing a sinusoidal sequence. So if you compare these two, you can say that its amplitude is 1 and the angular frequency omega is pi by 4. Please note the notation of angular frequency here we will be representing like ohm. Again, it is called as omega, but you are not going to represent it with the W type of omega. That is for continuous type signal. This is for discrete time signal. And from this, you can calculate the value of n, which is very much familiar for you. How you will calculate n? What is the equation to calculate n? It is 2 pi by omega into m. So here omega is pi by 4. So 2 pi by pi by 4 into m. So pi will get cancelled and answer is 8m. And you need to put a small integer for m such that capital N should be a positive integer. So for that you can put m as 1 so that 8 into 1 will become 8. So the total fundamental time period will become 8 here. Okay. And meanwhile, what is the phase angle here? When you compare this signal with the standard, the phase angle is 0. So there is no shift for the sinusoidal signal. So this is the way of representing a general sinusoidal sequence, that is a sine omega n plus phi or a cos omega n plus phi. Now how this is being plotted? See, this is a way of plotting a cosine waveform. So how this is being plotted, and can you say why it is started from -1 and not from 0? Anyone? Students, are you able to hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Phase shift, sir.
Yes, because of the phase shift, the signal is now starting from -1 and not from 0. So if it is a pure sinusoidal waveform, then it could have started from 0 itself. But since here we are plotting cosine waveform, it should start with a phase shift. So it is advanced signal. So it should come before the time 0. So that is why I have plotted from -1. So how this amplitude is go on increasing, and after 0 it is again decreasing by substituting appropriate values here. You check after putting -1 here, the answer is cos of minus pi by 4. What is cos of minus pi by 4? Check with the calculator. Cos of minus theta is cos theta. So cos pi by 4 is, what is cos pi by 4?
So 1 by root 2.
Yes, 1 by root 2 or 0.707. Cos pi by 4 is 0.707 or 1 by root 2. So that 1 by root 2 I have plotted at -1. Then when you come to 0, your answer is cos 0. Cos 0 is 1. So it is little bit larger than 0.707. Clear? So that is why I have plotted a larger amplitude at n equal to 0. Krishnan, is it clear for you, Krishnan?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. What about the value at n equal to 1? Harshit Gowda. What about the value at n equal to 1? Harshit.
So once one.
At n equal to 1
Hello,
here.
sir.
At n equal to 1, you have to substitute n equal to 1 in this function. So again, the answer becomes cos pi by 4 itself. Isn't it? So,
Yes, sir.
yeah. So here it will become cos pi by 4. Cos pi by 4 is again nothing but equal to 1 divided by root 2. 1 divided by root 2 is 0.707. So that 0.707 again we are plotting at n equal to 1, which is same as that of the value at n equal to -1. Now come to 2. At n equal to 2, what will happen? Cos 2 pi by 4 is nothing but cos pi by 2. Cos 90 is 0. Cos 90 is 0. So here you will have a dot at x-axis itself. And when you come to 3, the third case, that is at n equal to 3, substitute here. So it will become cos 3 pi by 4. Again, check the answer for cos 3 pi by 4 in your calculator. Put your mode in radians and calculate cos 3 pi by 4. What is the answer? Cos 3 pi by 4 is equal to what is the answer? Yes, cos of negative 3 pi by 4 is what is cos?
0.707.
Yes, minus 0.707. So cos of 3 pi by 4 is minus 0.707. So it will come downward. So like that we have plotted the samples of a cosine waveform. So this can be considered as a cosine discrete sequence. Okay. Or it can be a sinusoidal sequence because cosine is nothing but a shifted version of sine wave. Now coming to the next case, discrete time exponential signal. Discrete time exponential signal. As you can see here, n equal to 8. In the previous example, whatever we have plotted, n equal to 8. Now check whether this is applicable to this figure also, n equal to 8. Isn't it? The signal that is being starting from n equal to -1, it is going to be repeated at from n equal to 7 onwards. So to get the time period, we need to calculate the entire time from -1 to 7. -1 to 7 means the duration is 8. So n equal to 8 will be the fundamental time period of this signal. To calculate the time period, what we have to do? We should be able to track the starting of the signal. Here at n equal to -1, you are having this temp. So the same amplitude we are getting only at n equal to 7, and from this we are getting the pattern as such. From n equal to 7, this entire pattern is going to be repeated starting from 7 onwards. So we can consider the fundamental time period from -1 to 7, that is nothing but 8. If you count from -1 to 7, the entire duration is 8 seconds. So the total fundamental time period of the given signal is 8. Now coming to the fifth case, discrete time exponential signal. Discrete time exponential signal. Write the equation of that. Instead of putting x of t, here it will be x of n, which is equal to c into alpha raised to n. C into alpha raised to n. Again, here alpha is e raised to beta. Alpha is e raised to beta. That is why it is known as an exponential signal. Here alpha c and beta will be real constants. Alpha can be again written as e raised to beta, so that this will be an exponential function. Again, as like the previous continuous time version, here also we can say that c is the amplitude. C is the amplitude of the sequence at n equal to 0. So again, we have different cases for this particular signal. So the first case is if alpha is less than 1, if the value of alpha or the magnitude of alpha is less than 1, then we can say that the signal decays exponentially. The entire signal will decay exponentially. It is less than 1, not less than 0. Please keep it in mind, it is less than 1. Whereas in the previous case, we have only two subcases, either positive or negative. If the value of A was positive, then it is exponentially growing. If the value of A is negative, then it is exponentially decaying. But here we have 4 to 5 cases. So the first case is mod alpha less than 1. Then it will decay exponentially. Second case, alpha less than 0. Alpha less than 0 means it should be between -1 to 0. It is not mod alpha less than 1. You have to be very careful. Here I have written only alpha less than 0, but still it is maintained as negative. So it should be between -1 to 0. In that case, the sign of x of n will alternate. It will be more clear when I go for the real graph. So as of now, just you can take down these 2 points. If mod alpha is less than 1, then the signal will decay exponentially. If the value of alpha lies between -1 to 0, then at every instance of time, the sign of the signal will get alternate, or the amplitude will have a phase shift, or the amplitude will be negative at next instant of time. Again, it will become positive in the next instant. Again, it will become negative at the next instant. So like that, amplitude of the sign of the amplitude will always changing at every instant of time. That is what this particular sentence means. The sign of the signal x of n will alternate at each and every instant of time. It will be more clear when I go to the graph. As of now, we just take down these 2 points. Kindly mute your mic. Mute your mic. Coming to the third point, when alpha is greater than 1, the signal grows exponentially. When alpha is greater than 1, the signal grows exponentially. Prasanna, mute your mic. Third case, when alpha is greater than 1, the signal grows exponentially. Again, when alpha is less than -1, fourth case, when alpha is less than -1, the signal grows exponentially, but at the same time, the sign will alternate at every instant of time. When alpha is less than -1, the signal grows exponentially, but along with that, you can say the sign or the amplitude will get reversed at every instant of time. The sign of the amplitude will get reversed at every instant of time. So these are the 4 cases we need to plot. So first case 1, alpha greater than 1. As I told you, when alpha is greater than 1, the signal rises exponentially. So this can be plotted like this. The version alpha greater than 1 can be plotted in this particular way, where the signal rises exponentially. So when you join these peaks, it should be an exponential curve. Okay, it should not be a straight line. It should be an exponential curve. When you join these peaks, it should be an exponential curve like this. Now, draw this. Coming to the second case, when the value of alpha lies between 0 and 1. We got the difference. The previous case was the alpha is greater than 1. Second case is when alpha lies between 0 and 1, means it is greater than 0 but it is less than 1. Okay. So in that case, what will happen? The signal decays exponentially. The signal decays exponentially, which I have shown here. Alpha is less than 1. Okay. So it is positive, but it is less than. That is what is the meaning of this. Mod alpha less than 1 means it is positive, but its value should be less than 1. So it is between 0 and 1. So in that case, it is exponentially decaying. So whenever n increases, whenever the time increases, the amplitude is decreasing exponentially. Is that clear? Nirmit, is it clear for you? No response. Rajashekar, number 68. Okay, I won't be giving attendance for these people. It doesn't mean that you will get the attendance after once you log in and go. Okay, you have to be active in the class. Swati M.
Yes, sir.
Are you following?
Yes, sir.
Coming to case 3. Alpha is negative, but it is not going beyond -1. That is, alpha lies between -1 to 0. Alpha lies between -1 to 0. In that case, I mentioned it should be exponentially decaying. At the same time, the amplitude will have a shift, or the sign of the amplitude of the given signal will always changes at every instant of time. So as you can see, at one instant it will be positive, at next instant it will become negative, but the amplitude should be slightly decreasing. When you compare the amplitude at -6, the amplitude at -5 should be small. Again at -4 you are having a different amplitude which is positive, but again it should be very small. So like that it should be exponentially decreasing. Okay, when you join these two, you're having two graphs in one particular graph itself. You're having two curves like this. So when you join these two samples, you will have two curves as shown like this. This is known as exponentially decaying signal, but at the same time the amplitude, sign of the amplitude always changes at every instant of time. The sign of the amplitude always changes at every instant of time. So this is the third case. Okay, where alpha lies between -1 to 0. You draw it. Don't sit idle. Take your pen, paper. You have to draw. You have to complete your notes. Update your notes. Now coming to case 4, when alpha is less than -1. Case 4, when alpha is less than -1. So in this case, as you can see, here the signal rises exponentially, isn't it? The signal is growing exponentially, but the thing is that after every instant of time, its sign is alternating. the amplitude of the, the sign of the amplitude is getting reversed at each and every instant of time. For example, I have a positive amplitude at -4, but later I have a negative amplitude at -3. Again, at -2, you are having positive. At -1, you are having negative. But at each time when you mark this amplitude, be careful. The amplitude should increase exponentially. So when you join those peaks, you should get two curves which are exponentially rising. One to the positive side and one to the negative side. Actually, the curve at the bottom part is also rising, but the only thing is that it is rising towards negative, isn't it? When you join these samples, it is rising exponentially, but the thing is that it is rising in a negative manner. So this is a fourth case. So everything, it depends on the value of alpha. Okay. What is alpha? As you can see, the general equation, C is equal to alpha into alpha raised to n, where alpha is e raised to beta. So alpha is an exponential function. So everything, it depends upon the symbol of that exponential term. If it is negative, it will be exponentially decreasing. If it is positive, it will be exponentially increasing. And again, the magnitude of alpha is also a matter of fact, whether the amplitude is continuously positive or it is continuously negative, or whether it is alternating at every instant of time. Clear? So this is case 4. Now, this finishes our third part of this module. Now coming to the next part, basic operations on signals. So as of now, we have come across with different classifications of signals. What are the different classifications of signals we have? One is continuous time and discrete, even and odd. Then you have energy and power, periodic and non-periodic, and deterministic and random. After those things, we come across with that is the elementary signals. The elementary signals are nothing but elementary continuous and elementary discrete time signals. In each and every subclassifications, we'll have 5 different types of signals. That is unit ramp, unit step, unit impulse, sinusoidal, and one more thing. What is that? What is that? Sinusoidal, ramp, exponential. These are the 5 classifications in each and every exponential, elementary signals. Now coming to the third part of this module, that is basic operations on signals. Basic operations on signals. So the basic operations of signals, it includes first one, amplitude scaling. Take down amplitude scaling. So here the definition of amplitude scaling is nothing but y of t equal to c into x of t. X of t is nothing but your input signal whose amplitude is to be scaled or amplitude is to be multiplied. So here we have used a factor c for its amplitude multiplication. So c is nothing but the scaling factor. So what will happen if amplitude is multiplied? Your signal will increase. The amplitude of your signal will increase. Suppose c is equal to 2, means the amplitude of the signal will increase by 2 times. Okay. Previously, suppose consider that the amplitude was 2, but after multiplying with the scaling factor, now it will become 2 into 2. So now the amplitude will become 4. Need not necessary that amplitude should be always positive. It can be negative also. So if you are scaling the given signal with a negative scaling factor, then your amplitude will reverse. Clear? Is this concept is clear for you? This is applicable for discrete time version also, but the only difference what we are doing is We are scaling x of n with c, not x of t with c. Still, the same process only we are going to deal with. That is, at each and every instance of time, your amplitude will be doubled or tripled or 4 times, whatever it becomes. That depends upon the value of c. If c is 2, you need to increase the amplitude by 2 times. If c is 3, you need to increase the amplitude by 3 times. If c is half, you need to divide the amplitude by 2. Is this clear for you? You need to respond, otherwise I am going to stop the class.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
So take
sir.
down. Okay, thank you, thank you. Now take down this example. Plot x of t. You need to plot that x of t. See, what is the amplitude for this given signal x of t? What is the amplitude in the left side? The amplitude
2.
is 2. Very good. So after multiplying this x of t with the scaling factor 2, this sinusoidal waveform will have an amplitude 4. But there should not be any change in time period. So while plotting the scaled signal, you need to ensure that the time period is not changing. You are going to change only the amplitude. So the signal will become big in terms of the amplitude, but the duration is going to be same. So same thing is applicable for discrete version also. Same thing is applicable for discrete version also. So that is being shown on the right side. Hope you have plotted this example. Now you will go to the discrete version. Kindly draw this example x of n. So after scaling, what will happen? Each and every amplitude should be multiplied by 2. So at 0, what will be the new amplitude? At time t equal to 0 or n equal to 0, what will be the new amplitude?
So it will be 0 only.
It will be 0 only because earlier you have 0. The signal is 0. So 0 into 2 is 0. So it will remain at 0 itself. But later when you come to the time 1, the previously you will have an amplitude 1, but after multiplying by 2, now the amplitude will become 2. So like that, like this, you need to increase the height of the signals at each and every instant of time. So that is the example of amplitude scaling. So that is the first operation on signal. So now we are discussing basic operations on signals. So the first operation what we have discussed is amplitude scaling. In amplitude scaling, just we need to change the amplitude by the corresponding scaling factor. So it is applicable for both continuous signal as well as discrete time signal in the same manner. At each and every instant of time, we need to multiply the amplitude with the corresponding factor. But at the same time, the frequency or the time duration is going to be same. Coming to the second one, time scaling. Second operation is time scaling. See, within another minute, 1 minute, this meeting is going to end. So you can log in with the same link. Time scaling. Second one is time scaling. So here we are going to scale the time, not the amplitude. So the signal will get either expand or it will get compress. So only the parameter time we are going to change, but y-axis remains constant. There is no change in amplitude, but the only thing what we are going to do is you are scaling the independent variable t. Why time is independent variable? Because it is not depending upon any other factors. Whatever happens, time will go. You won't get time. Many of them have not attended the quiz. Why? Because they were sleeping.